We got every traffic avenue. Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. An applause for the traffic avenue.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh.
City 97.3. Accra.
Go for gold and bet risk-free on the new season with Betway. Use the golden booking code found on the Betway site to bet on selected match week and get 100% back as a free bet on any losses. You always get more with Betway. Regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
Detailed news, unparalleled coverage. City News on 97.3 FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City News.
It's 17:30 GMT. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Umaru Sanda Amadou. Tonight, I'm here with
Hawa Idrisu Mustafa.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes.
The second theme is one which is a very long discussion, which I can come to some understanding that they do not dispute.
The chairman of the parliamentary committee chairing the investigations of the plot to remove the IGP has been speaking, and he says the viral tape at the center of the investigation appears doctored. Also coming up on Eyewitness News, Asin Central Member of Parliament Kennedy Jepong picks number 1 on the ballot paper for the NPP presidential primaries as Vice President Dr. Baumia picks number 2. We'll touch base with the various campaigns. And later on Eyewitness News,
this is the first time we have achieved a producer price as high as what we have today in 50 years. This is very significant. And this is likely to boost Ghana's reputation and help draw more relationship and partnerships for increased economic activity.
Well, government has announced new prices for cocoa farmers, but the former President John Mahama says the farmers are being ripped off. And you heard that the Director of Communications of the NPP unhappy with the situation. Still 97.3 Citi FM for more of this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
3% drop in inflation rate, not significant enough to put Ghana back on this inflationary path. We get to hear from the economists.
That's in 15 minutes from the City Business Desk. Eyewitness News is live across Ghana on a number of affiliate stations. In the Western region, we are on Premier 100.5, also Beach 105.5 FM, Sky Power 93.5 FM in Tamale. We are also in Bono region on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani. We are on Hames Radio 106.5 FM, that's in Goso in the Ahafo region. In the Ashanti region, we are on 107.9 FM, that's Orange FM in Kumasi. In the Volta region, we are on 96.7 FM in Kwando, that's Akpini Radio. Also on Heritage 107.3 FM in Hohoi. We are in the Northern region on Dasuma 99.1 FM in Yendi. If we go to the Upper East region, we are on Word 88.3 FM in Zuarungu, Upper West, Westlink 88.1 FM in Laura, and in the Northeast region on Eagle 94.1 FM in Uwale. The show is also live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook. We are live on citynewsroom.com, and we are interactive. Join us with the various messages you have in response to the issues that are coming up. On WhatsApp, the number is 0549 986 996. 0549 986 996. Do send your message. The hashtag to use if you want to send a message via Twitter is City Newsroom. Tweet at Umaru Sanda or at City973. The New Patriotic Party is preparing for the primaries that would elect a flag bearer for the party. That's going to happen on November 4. Already, we've seen 2 people pull out of the race. Emmanuel Chamate Jako has pulled out of the race. We have Boache Jako, no Emmanuel, I beg your pardon. We've also seen Alan Kwaji Chamantin pull out of the race, which means there are 4 people who are going to battle it out. Now, these 4 have been balloting for the various positions. Kennedy Japan, the MP for Asin Central, who is a presidential hopeful, picks the first position on the ballot. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the vice president, picks number 2. The former Minister for Agriculture, Dr. Usifri Akoto, picks number 3. And Francis Adainimo, the former Member of Parliament for Mampong, picks number 4. What does this mean to the various campaigns? Dr. Gideon Boaku speaks for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. He's joined us on the line. Doc, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Hi, Sander. Good evening. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Does your campaign use this or plan to use this number 2, for anything at all? I've seen that prior to the special delegates, you had the number 10 splashed at various parts of the city. What are you going to do with number 2?
Well, I think I made it clear to you when we did the bulletin for the super delegates that personally I don't believe in the numerology and the theories behind such numbers. I mean, well, there are others who have some trust and believe in such numbers and what they think has spiritual links and whatever. But for us as a team, what's important to us is that we are placed number 2 on the ballot. We have to think about which is the best means to make the number 2 get stuck in the eyes and the minds of the people, such that as they go to cast their vote, they have to look for number 2 and the image and the identity of our candidate, which is the vice president. So it's more of having to devise means and strategies to sell and make the number 2 very popular in the minds of the people who are going to vote.
Do you not think that if you were number 1, it would be an easy sell, and even if you are at the bottom, like you were, would have been an easy sell? But number 2, that doesn't sound good, does it? For a contest where you are going and expecting to be number 1, and someone who perhaps was the candidate that just came from nowhere, and I'm using that advisedly, to become number 2 to your candidate, you would want to be number 1 instead of number 2, don't you think? Or it doesn't matter for you?
It doesn't matter. Whoever is going to vote knows the person that he or she is going to vote. And mind you, people have been number 3 in this country and have won to become president. People have been number 2 before, have won to become president. People have been number 1 and they've lost miserably. People have been the last number and they've lost miserably. So I don't actually think, I haven't come across any empirical study that shows that where you're placed on the ballot determines your victory or otherwise in an election. It's important that when these ballots are out, people have their own ways to trumpet them around. But for us, the most important thing is for us to let the delegates and the people know that we are number 2 and make it very popular in their eyes and their minds, so that as they're going to cast the vote, they look for the image of the vice president and also the position that he's placed. Anything beyond that are all just cosmetics and just normal political stuff that do not really contribute much to the success of a candidate on the voting day.
I see. Very well. Otherwise, how is the campaign doing, though, generally? What's the vice president been up to?
Yeah, the campaign is going on well. We let me say continued, because prior to the superdelegates election, we had to discontinue the mass engagement with the police station executives and focus on the super delegates. Now that the superdelegates is out and the vice president won a landslide victory, we continued the campaign, the mass campaign with the Delhi police station executives last week. So far, we've done OT region, and currently we are in the Volta region. We're expecting to finish the Volta region tomorrow. And then from Friday, the vice president will be in Accra to attend to some other official government duty. And then Sunday, from the northern region also. So we are still on the campaign trail, engaging the people, we're getting the message to them. There are some more regions still to cover, and we're hoping that given the time frame for the election, which is from now to November 4th, we'll be able to cover all the regions and then make sure that just as it happened on the 26th of August, on November 4th, the good people of the New Patriotic Party who are delegates in the general primaries will go and vote for the vice president.
Very well. Thank you so much. So you're sure that the signal is strong?
We moved from 3G to 3.5 to 4G now. I think we are cruising to 5G.
Wish you all the best, and thank you for speaking to us, Doc.
Thank you, Sander.
That's Dr. Gideon Boako. He speaks for the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Let's go to the camp of Dr. Efri Akoto, the former Minister for Agriculture. The man who speaks for him is Dr. Prince Amuzu. Doc, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, and greetings to your viewers and listeners.
Number 3, does it mean anything?
Definitely. You know, number 3 is the Trinity. God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. We take delight in this number because we believe that this number shows that God's hand is upon Honorable Dr. Efri Akoto's campaign.
So you actually believe that the 3 means something beyond just the fact that it is the position on the ballot?
It's not just the position. It's actually a sign of blessing of God upon the work that you are doing. If all 3 of the Godhead is with you, then you are in good shape.
I see. Now, going by how he fared in the super delegates, I'm not sure it will come down to the position on the ballot. There's more work that ought to be done. His performance was woeful, wasn't it? What steps are you taking as a campaign to make sure he does better in the upcoming primaries?
His performance at the last election, depending on how you look at it, that is why we kept saying that if God has purported that we are part of the 5, which were never counted to be by many posters and many people who opined on the matter, but God himself made it possible that we're part of the 5. If you look at the people that were part of that election, the super delegate, and the kinds of things that happened, the cautions we gave that were put aside, and the cautions we gave that were accepted to be part of the guidelines, and yet people flouted it in broad daylight. It will tell you that even those that mastered courage and were able to vote for us, they must have been really assisted by God. Because you see, we are talking about a situation where regional authorities of the party flouted all the regulations, including the basic one, secret ballot. Don't show who you voted for. But imagine the height of enthusiasm and the feeling that they needed to please somebody, that I worked for you, I voted for you. And this is why initially we said, look, can you have all this voting done in one center so that all these unnecessary feeling and drama, euphoria will not be necessary? Of course, this is one party, and we needed to do it in a manner that the optics will be good for us. And here we are. So we are very happy that we have the opportunity to be part of the 4th of November. Why? Because that is the real deal. 4th November is where the people who are going to vote are over 200,000. Most of them are farmers. They are direct beneficiaries of the policy planting for food and jobs, and they relate better with Dr. Efri Akoto. And therefore, the fact that we are part is a big thing for us. And we believe that this is our platform, this is our opportunity to show that indeed the party MPP resonates with the vision that Dr. Efri Akoto has put forth. And therefore, we are going to make a good show this time around.
I see. You seem to have issues with the electoral process of the NPP so far. 2 of the candidates, Alan Kojo Tremantin and Boakye Jaku, have spoken publicly about difficulties they had with the process. We do not see you associate with any of those. Is it because you made it to the top 5, so you could not be bothered? You are simply making these comments now because you thought you should make them, but you didn't see the need to join the chorus of Dr. Boakye Jaku, not Dr. Boakye Jaku and Alan Tremantin?
The also Dr. Efri Akoto campaign has always said we are noiseless. We had written a lot. We had spoken a lot at meetings with the Presidential Elections Committee. That is where the matter will be resolved, not in the public space. So if you check those who attend those meetings, they'll tell you the things we say there. Because clearly, We have a party to build, not a party to break. We want to break the 8, not the party. And therefore, we have taken the view that when there is something that bothers us, we'll put it before the committee that has the capacity to address. And as we speak, a lot of the things that we have said and brought up have been picked up again. Because really, after this 4th November, all of us have to come together. Whoever emerges winner, we must all assess that the party breaks the 8, not the person, the party. It means all of us, all 10 aspirants, and all 4 now, have to come together and assess. This is why we always provide that leadership for the call for unity, not to do things that will hurt the party, not to say things that will hurt the party. But when we're having a conversation as we are doing, we have a duty to explain that looking at what had happened, ideally everybody else would have gotten 0. Anybody that have voted against the status quo, that person must be applauded because that person is a true Democrat. There was a point that people even, rise up to challenge. People are blatantly overlooking the guidelines, and they got beaten for that. People got beaten for that. You are aware. It's public knowledge, and we can speak about it. Other than that, what is my business talking about such a matter? But it's already public knowledge, you see. So these are kind of things that I've said that because of that, let's put what has happened behind us. We have forged forward. We are making new guidelines. We are trying to see how best we can improve on what we have done in the past. And we have the confidence that this system will work because this is MPP. It has to work.
Wish you all the best and thank you. Where is Dr. Free Akoto today?
We are grateful for the opportunity. Dr. Free Akoto is very well and is in the campaign office as we speak. We are around Ridge.
He's in Accra. He's not out campaigning?
There are votes also in Accra. Accra has a very large constituency in terms of votes. So we have a lot of engagement with people and we continue to engage the people. Because as it is now, we are talking about 200,000 people. The strategy about the other one and this one can never be the same. And therefore, we are putting together and we are doing a lot of reviews of ways and means of getting our messages across. And today we went for balloting. Obviously, it's a big day and we have to be together to see what is the way forward.
Very well. All the best and thank you for speaking to us.
We are grateful for the opportunity.
That's Dr. Prince Amuzo. He's with the Dr. Free Akoto campaign team. Let's go to the Francis Adanimo campaign team and speak to Yao Boatin. He's with that team too. Yao, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. Again, the question is your candidate is number 4 at the bottom. Is that to show what position is going to be on November 4?
Good evening to your cherished listeners listening to Eyewitness News on Citi at this moment of the day. What I would say is that we are not perturbed with the position on the ballot. It is a position where people would want to see and locate you. It has nothing to do with the outcome of the election. It has nothing to do with the result of the election. It is just a position on the ballot where people would locate that if I need to vote for Honorable Francis Adanimo, when I get to the bottom of the ballot, that is where I'm going to find Honorable Engineer Francis Adanimo and vote for. So the position on the ballot has nothing to do with the outcome of the election, if you ask me.
Where is Francis Adanimo today?
Francis is currently in Accra.
He's not gone out campaigning?
I keep on saying this. We had something to do in Accra today. And Accra is also big and large, that we have people to engage in Accra. And as the time is limited, you have to employ a number of strategies to make your campaign get out to everybody. So we are using all means, but he had to be in Accra today for the special program that went on today. That is why he's in Accra. But we are on the ground moving.
What is his campaign plan in going to the regions? Does he have a calendar he's working with? Which calendar you can share with us about which region he's going to next?
We started with the campaign prior to the Special Delegate Conference. So we are going to continue with our plan. I don't have it currently as I speak in front of me to discuss with you, but I know we will start, or we are on the ground moving, and as soon as we get to each constituency, there are some of the constituencies, looking at the timeline, you have to bring people together, the adjoining constituencies together. And there are some of the constituencies, looking at the numbers, you need to be in that constituency and then talk to the delegates so that they can buy into your message. And as I keep telling other people that would want to know, we believe that we are using the submarine tactics where we don't normally disclose or tell people what we are doing, because it is the delegates that matter in this election, and they are the very people that we need to convince to vote when it comes to the larger, when he successfully becomes the flag bearer, and then we will move from there. And then one thing I can say is that this is an internal party affair, and it is our party members that we have to be with them, move to them, and talk to them, and that is exactly what we are in to do.
Okay. Thank you so much, and we wish you all the best for speaking to us. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's Yao Boatin. He's with the Francis Adainimo campaign team. Let's conclude with Kennedy Japon's campaign team. Kwame Usu is a campaign manager. Sir, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Good afternoon.
The number one position on the ballots, yes, that's on top of the ballot, easy to identify, but does it really mean much to your campaign? Were you looking for it to get in number one?
Yes. Coincidentally, when we were going in, the Honorable Ken predicted that he will pick one again. Quite interesting. It happens to be so. But as to proper or easy identification on a ballot also has advantages. Usually, sometimes people don't have a choice. They get to a place and they make a decision. Also, as far as our part of the world is concerned, a lot of people believe in omens.
Sorry, bad omen there for us. We just lost Kwame Usu, who is campaign chair for Kennedy Japan. We'll try to reestablish connection with him. Let me bring some of the messages that you've sent through. Daniel Akpaliok in Sandema says, regardless of whoever emerges a winner in the NPP flag bearership race, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will still win the 2024 general elections hands down. Ghanaians have tested the bad governance of the NPP and how they have mismanaged our hard-earned taxes. We are tired of the draconian taxes, military brutalities, and the clear abuse of power under this government. Baba Chairman in Tamale says, I urge all our dear delegates to please give the Honorable Kennedy Japan the opportunity to showcase his powers and magnanimity in job creation. He's always known for the voice for the voiceless. That's what you are saying. This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are having a conversation around the balloting. The NPP candidates for the November 4 election have gone for the balloting. Kennedy Japan number 1, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia number 2, Dr. Owusu Efiri Akoto number 3, and Francis Adainimo as number 4. We're speaking to Kwame Usu, who is campaign chair of Kennedy Japan, before we lost him there. Sir, you're welcome back. We lost you there when you were talking to us about the omen. And
that's okay. Let me apologize that I didn't say hello to your listeners. But I'm saying that a lot of people in that part of the world believe in omens. And so if nothing at all, this is going to boost the confidence of most of our supporters. So I believe it's nothing at all is going to be to our advantage for being number one. But for me, I wouldn't want any complacency to seep in. So what I am urging our supporters is to work hard. They should go door to door. They should not relent. They shouldn't say because we pick number one, it's going to be ABC. It's the hard work that I'm urging them to do. Spend the time and deliver the message, which Honorable Ken stands for. And I think that will be my advice. But for purposes of the numbering, I think that you and I know most people believe in omen. I believe in hard work. But whatever be the case, this is to our advantage in terms of the selection.
I see. After the super delegates, we saw the persons, after Alan Chamanti decided to pull out of the race, we saw some of his team members joining the Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia campaign. We haven't seen anyone publicly announce that they are joining you. Are you not clamoring for the votes from Alan's spouse?
We have them. We don't go out making noise. I mean, some publicity is sometimes the game which the other side or Dr. Bawumia's people are for. They may get one or two people, and then they will go out and say, we spoke to this and that and that. We have a lot of the numbers. And I'm sure you, having been in this game for quite a long time, you know that most of the people going to Alan Chamartin are not going to join Dr. Bawumia at all, especially what happened during the election, the first phase of it, and the speech and the anger and the disappointment. I do not think that the people seeing their leader move are going to move towards that. But of course, they will go for one or two people and try to make noise out of it. For us, that is not a game plan. We are working underground. We are doing whatever it will take for us to win this election in November 4th. We have the people, unless you want us to name them, who are the. When we started this campaign, it has always been, the people are this, the establishment people, ministers of this, why don't you have it? We have strategies. 2-3 people can handle thousands of people who put ideas together. So do not be worried about one person that they go to get him to declare. Please. Alan people are not for Bawumia.
The Alan people, or Alan himself and Boakye Jaku, have raised some concerns ahead of the November 4 election. What is your position as a campaign on the issues they raise about the transparency of the electoral process?
I think that I must commend the committee handling the elections for our party. They've been quite fair, but I know traffic light is red, don't move in, people move through it. There are people who will try to bring about these infractions. And we are going to make sure that this time, nothing of that sort. And I've said it many times, if it sounds too chauvinistic, or we are going to go for boot. Anywhere that they try to do whatever mischief to us, we will retaliate. So I agree that they've made those comments, but we have taken note of that. And we have tried to put a lot of the issues that came about into the next phase as part of the guidelines. And we are going to go through and make sure that we face the Bawumia camp in particular. Those type of things that they did, which was too open, and make sure that we defeat them.
So you give them the showdown that your boss talked about. Where is he, by the way? Where is he campaigning today?
No, he did a selection. Where is he campaigning? He just picked this. If you do something like this for nothing at all, you have to go home and get probably a glass of beer. But yes, we are going to give them a showdown. You know, he's been a leader. Everything that he says is a pace setter. Everything that he comes about, if he has to go to every constituency, the next time the people are following. Everything that he does, if you look at the showdown, now it has become a message for everybody, including Dr. Bawumia, using about 2 or 3 times. So he's a pace setter. And for us, he's going to actually give him a showdown come November 4. And people are very excited about this term. And it's just going like a fire, a bushfire. We are going to give it a showdown.
Based on what you just said, I am presuming your candidate is home resting over a bottle of beer.
It's normal. We have been there for about 5 hours, 6 hours. As soon as he finishes, it's very difficult for him to go out campaigning. But he's doing some consultations, but not campaignning.
No, I'm interested in the beer that you mentioned. He drinks beer?
Oh, of course. Even I'm having a glass of beer.
So are you sure your campaign
team... We have gone through a long day, so...
I hope it's not, the volumes are not that high to make your campaign team drunk, because November 4 is...
No. We are very disciplined. You know, the key element for our campaign, for everything about us, is about discipline. All right, discipline is godliness. And I think that is what is going to change the mindset of Ghanaians. Somebody must look up to a leader and see that his actions will get the kind of punishment that it would deserve. Look at people, they go out, the roads are bad, they will do it within 6 months, and nobody says anything. The police, the chief executive, the ministers of the appointees, if they are doing wrong things, they know the disciplinarian will actually discipline them. So for me, we are disciplined in terms of what our lives are, and the same thing that he's going to use to govern this country, so that it will change the mindset, because no one person can rule without getting everybody on board. And this change of mindset, that the leadership qualities that we have in our man, is what is going to lead us to give us a light at the end of the tunnel.
We wish you all the best, and thank you for speaking to us, sir.
It is our pleasure, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. That's Kwame Owusu. He is the campaign chair of the Kennedy Japan campaign team. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. More of your messages. PK from Mamobi says Ken number one is not a surprise. He will give them a showdown, but NDC will strike them down for their merciless managing of the economy. This one from King George Ofosu from Luton in the United Kingdom. He says the order, as realized as seen in the balloting today, shall be what will happen on November 4. You can bet me on this. Ken for President 2024. That's a hashtag is used. This one says, my name is Ibrahim, texting you from Tamale, Warizei. Whoever emerges the winner, John Mahama will definitely win 2024 election hands down. Ghanaians are tired of the MPP government. Send your message to 0549 986 996 0549 986 996. Alternatively, you can go on Twitter like this man has done. Je suis Blueprint from Esikado Kitan. He says, Honorable Kennedy Japan will be a good presidential material, but this is not his stand, though he still picks the number one position. Baba Chairman in Tamale says, the number one slot picked by Honorable Ken is nothing but a divine one, and come November 4, the delegates of our dear party shall confirm it. You can also send your message, hashtag Citi Newsroom. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. My name is Umaru Sanda. I'm here with Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. We return with more. Please stay.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You know, Papa see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Quartz and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman Mane. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Technology is shaping the workforce of the future. Are you job market ready? Looking for a career change or want to get into the tech space? The place to start is with ALX. ALX, an Africa Leadership Group initiative in partnership with the MasterCard Foundation, is developing a talent pool within the technology sector. ALX offers courses in software engineering, AWS cloud computing, data analytics, and Salesforce administration. This is an opportunity to learn in-demand skills in a changing job market. ALX provides added value in training programs, mentorships, and networking. Apply now and get started on your dream career. Visit www.alxafrica.com to register before the deadline of 12 September 2023.
Ajwapa, what's all this condom business? I've told her over and over again that she won't get pregnant, and she's still insisting. Oh, isn't she the same person who said we would not have sex till we go out for at least 2 years? For all this time? Oh, and she still can't trust me enough? Abba, when I try to do something small, no, condom this, condom that. So handsome man like me, she probably thinks I have HIV.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner. Condoms are effective for protection against a wide spectrum of STIs and HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. Now, National Security Minister Albert Kandapa and the lawyer representing the Inspector General of Police, Kwame Jan, were today engaged in a closed-door meeting with Parliament's ad hoc committee investigating a leaked tape related to the IGP. Additionally, Bugui Nabu, the former Northern Regional Chairman of the NPP, was present with his legal team for further investigations into the secret tape which revealed alleged plans to remove the IGP from office ahead of the 2024 elections. The 3 senior police officers implicated in the secret recording were also in attendance with their legal representatives. Meanwhile, chairman of the committee, Samuel Atachian, has disclosed that the viral leaked tape on the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Ekufu Dampari's removal appears to be doctored. Atachian, who is also the chairman of the committee probing the leaked audio, made the claim today, September 13, while addressing the media in Accra. In his view, the tape, which has been circulating on social media, is a shorter version than the new tape delivered to the committee by the former Northern Regional Chairman of the NPP. He engaged the press after today's meeting.
The committee is resuming work on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and the 6th of October. God willing.
Thank you. Chairman, for purposes of clarity, I want to find out, did the National Security Report concern itself with just the interrogation of the key witnesses who were called by the NIB, or it's a comprehensive report about the entire tape and its linkages and its effect on our national security? And then also, when you return on the 5th till your work is done, do you know, on the 2nd to the 5th, do you know if these are going to be public hearings or the nature of hearings you are going to have when you return?
In the first instance, the Minister for National Security did not tender any document. He only tendered his statement, what he said to the committee. So he made a written statement to the committee. And then we said he should tender the statement he made to the committee. So that is the first point. The second point is that when we return, it is going to be an in-camera hearing because all the witnesses will congregate with their lawyers, and then they are supposed to give us the evidential support in relation to what they said openly and publicly. And please bear in mind that we are not trying to shut out the press because, as has been rightly said, there are national security implications in relation to the interrogation. And we need to exercise that discretion as to what is good for public consumption and what is not. But eventually, a report will be placed before Parliament, which will be a matter of public knowledge. And then Parliament will debate it, and then resolutions will be made on the basis of the report.
Sure, I don't think you got my first question right. You mentioned that there is an interim report which had been prepared by the National Security, but he refused to share it because of the fact that it has not been declassified. And I want to know if he told the committee about the remit of that report, whether it relates to only the interrogation of Superintendent Asari and the rest, or it relates to the entire tape, that's the tape and its ramifications for our national security.
He didn't talk about it at all. He said he refused to talk about anything they did.
Chairman, I also want to find out whether we're going to witness cross-examination during the sitting.
Very most likely.
With respect to the petitioners, is there any updates from the police officers who claim they have been denied promotions by the, Dr. Akufo-Dampare?
That is very peripheral to the investigations we are doing, and we will look at it. So when you brush aside your substantive remit and go into some other matters, it could eat our time. So we look at the time measurement properly and we'll attend to it.
Does the second tape suggest that indeed the initial tape which went viral is a doctored one?
It seems to be the case because the second tape is one which is a very long discussion, which I can come to some understanding that they do not dispute.
Mr. Chairman, we know there was this video in circulation where Bugrinabu allegedly, a voice alleged to be from Bugrinabu talking about his engagement with the IGP, and the voice was heard saying that it takes about 10,000 Ghana cedis from the IGP. Has that been drawn to your attention?
Not yet. The committee has not had that video, and they've not brought it to our attention.
But will you consider scrutinizing the video if it is drawn to your attention?
We'll scrutinize every relevant evidence that comes before the committee. So if you want to be a witness and tender it, you are welcome.
Is it my understanding that it is not the witness, it is not only the witness that will tender that as evidence, but anyone from the general public can tender that in as an evidence?
It's not a fetish of an inquiry, it's an open inquiry. And the public who are interested in the sanity of the Ghana Police Service can always come in with whatever evidence which has direct relation to our remit, and we look at it.
But are there still some objections from any of the legal themes of the witnesses before you? We know that the IGP's lawyers raised the concern about they having the benefit of the evidence that will be adduced by the accusers so that they can also go and scrutinize them, come back and respond to them.
They have every proceeding now. You see, even yesterday's proceedings were ready. They've given it to them. They've given the number of the chairman and the clerk to the committee that if they are having any challenge in relation to proceedings, they will give it to them. And if there is any evidence of consequence that we have, we'll give it to them. So they scrutinize whatever we have before we meet. And they have also said they'll give their evidence to us.
Mr. Chairman, lastly from me, is there any time frame that the committee is working on to unravel the allegations?
Well, the Speaker insisted that when we return the first week, we should finish our work. But when we look at the welter of the case and there's a need to seek his leave to continue, we'll bring it to his attention because we don't intend doing a shorter job.
But would you say you're overwhelmed by what you are hearing or what you are gathering so far as this case is concerned?
I'm not overwhelmed at all. I am a lawyer of considerable experience. I've heard a lot of things. I've heard about murders, subversion. I've heard a lot of things in my life. I'm not surprised at all. I can only see common humanity playing out. And if we're a good student of the Bible, we'll be surprised.
I do admire the way you handle the whole proceedings, but at the point it appears some of the lawyers wanted to bully you. Did you see that to be tough on your side?
Well, the people who wanted to bully me are my engineers. I have a very young face, but I'm not a small boy at the bar. Yes, if I have some people in the Supreme Court who are my engineers. I'm not a boy.
That was the Member of Parliament for Ibuakwa South and Chairman of the committee probing the alleged leaked tape plotting the removal of the IGP Samuel Atta Achian. The Judicial Service Staff Association of Ghana, JUSAG, is demanding improved security and some risk allowance for its members following the recent attacks at the Tamale District Court. On August 28, a judge and court bailiff were attacked by some residents of Tamale. The angry resident had stormed the Tamale District Court during the case of a man accused of selling drugs to the youth. The group pelted stones at the court, which resulted in the injury of a police officer. There was also an exchange of gunfire between the police and the youth during the encounter, but JUSAG has since condemned this act and described it as barbaric. President of JUSAG, Samuel Afote-Otu, speaking at the 2023 Judicial Service Staff Deb and Open Forum in Cape Coast in the Central Region, said the incident is a wake-up call for its members to be considered for risk allowances.
My lady, may I humbly implore our staff here and across the country to adhere to the code of ethics in the performance of our official assignment. As members of the Judicial Service, it is our solemn duty to nurture and protect the justice system. We have the immense responsibility of shaping the future of our nation by upholding the principles of justice and the rule of law. As we do this and more, let us enhance security in our courts to protect and safeguard staff, judges, and magistrates in our clients. The recent incident of attack at the Tamale District Court is a wake-up call on the service to relook at our security protocols. It also sends a signal that all employees of the service are at risk. And with this inherent risk, provision of risk allowance should not be seen as too much for staff. Respectfully, my lady, with your kind permission, I send a felicitation of JUSAG to our forebearers who have served this noble institution and have now retired. I open to you all.
Samuel Afote-Otu is the president of the Judicial Service Staff Association of Ghana. The National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, has activated its emergency response unit in preparation for potential flooding in the country. This decision comes following a warning from the Ghana Meteorological Agency predicting more rainfall in the coming weeks. The head of public relations at NADMO, George A.C., in an interview with Citi News, says the organization has identified safe havens in various localities where affected individuals can seek shelter.
NADMO is always being on standby and ready for emergency response, and then early warnings and preparedness plans are always put in place. Yes, we tandem with the GMEX, and they give us these updates, so we are aware. And we have put our men on standby where we need to engage in community work like dredging, desilting, and co. Where we need to be involved in that, we get involved. Where the assembly is to provide the leadership for that, we prompt the assembly, and the assembly, in partnership with us, have done some of these things. However, in case the rains then gets heavier, people living in disaster-prone areas, we've done what we call identification of safe havens, so people can access those places for their safety, and thereafter get back to their homes to put those places in order. Engagement with people, especially flood-prone areas and co, has gone on and is still going on. And in case the rains get heavier and there's some distraction and co, we are ready to see how we can assist affected victims. If we need to relocate, we need to provide temporary shelter, we will do that. Where there's need for relief support, we will be able to support them.
Mr. AC further called on the various metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies to desilt the drains to ensure the free flow of rainwater.
Low-lying areas, we should try and do community engagement. If we can desilt smaller drains and co, it's very important. Assembly should also support by helping to desilt the bigger drains, and then so that the flood water will have their ways to move and will not inundate such communities. And let's identify the safe havens identified by NADMO in their communities, especially in the Accra area, so that we can access such facilities and will not put ourselves in harm's way as a result of the flood. As we speak, there's been a warning from Burkina Faso about spillage of the Bagri Dam. And so we've charged, our Director General has charged our people in the 5 northern regions to, engage people living along the banks of the White and the Black Volta so that they will not be in harm's way, integrating people in higher grounds, and then don't cross the rivers to their farms because the levels of the water bodies have risen, and it can be a danger to us. Let's be careful, especially those living along the banks of these two rivers.
That was the head of public relations at NADMO, George AC. The Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO, is urging the Electoral Commission to reconsider its decision to conduct the limited voter registration exercise exclusively at its district offices. Despite calls from various stakeholders to decentralize the registration process for improved accessibility, the Electoral Commission opted to maintain its initial approach. Albert Ahin, the national coordinator of CODEO, expressed concerns about the proximity challenges faced during the process and warned that this could exacerbate existing voter apathy towards district-level elections.
The concern we have is that it is not going to get the attention or the patronage that it deserves, because a lot of people will have to travel long distances to these district centers. If we even take the regional capital, in Accra, for example, you will have most of these district offices as places where people will have to take 2-3 tractors before they get there. And if you take into account the fact that people will have to pay money to get these places, wherein lies the motivation? How would they be motivated to take tractor to come and do this registration? So it tells you that people might be interested, but they might not do it because they don't have the wherewithal to take transport to go and do it. So maybe the UC will have to rethink its position and try to open centers apart from the district offices so that it will be closer to the people. That's the first one. In some of the regions, you have very difficult areas, riverine areas, where, for example, in the Afram Plain, in Diga, also in the Afram Plain, you need to take a boat before you come to Donkokrom to do the registration. The normal thing has been that the EC takes or hires a boat for people to go there, stay there for the duration of the exercise, and then they come back. So the question is, are the voters who have turned 18 going to hire a boat and come to the boat? I'm sure they will not.
Albert Ahin is the national coordinator of the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers.
One of the parties that has been demanding for the expansion of the registration process is the National Democratic Congress. Yesterday on Eyewitness News, I spoke to Mustafa Gbandi, who is Deputy General Secretary of the party, and he listed for us, in support of what his chairman had said earlier, a number of places where they recorded challenges with the registration. 24 hours on, what is the monitoring team of the NDC finding out? Mustafa is back on the line. Sir, you're welcome to Eyewitness News. Yesterday, you reported to us that some of the people in your areas or areas you deem your stronghold could not register. Has the issue been rectified today?
Thank you very much, Umaru. Indeed, today, day 2, what we saw yesterday, we've had a little bit of improvements in what we refer to as technical challenge, because most of the areas as of today are beginning to continue the process through offline mode. That is where we have online challenges, they move to offline. And where machines are totally breakdown, they are moving those machines. They move some of them to the regions to try and replace them. However, what is very interesting is that the enthusiasm is very high. A lot of young people are committed to ensure that they are able to use or sacrifice their convenience to get registered. But the difficulty remains that people who move from various parts of the constituencies, particularly the hinterland, to come into the district capital and are not able to register are still left unattended to in terms of their shelter, in terms of feeding them, in terms of protecting them to ensure that they are able to
come back the following day to register, particularly areas where the people have to use boats, such as Kratchi, Enclave, the Pando areas, Farm Plains areas, going to the Sini areas. It still remains that the Electoral Commission have not, come out with a roadmap or a plan in terms of how it intends to get these people who have to cross the river to the various parts of the district capitals where they have to be registered. And that challenge still remains unattended to. In terms of the economic challenges that people will have to go through in order to register, it still remains the same. We are looking forward for, the Electoral Commission to augment its operation in terms of making sure that it replaces faulty machines on time, increasing number of machines at places where we have huge numbers so that people will not be left in the queue for a very long time. Omar, what is most unfortunate is that the people have started their usual stock in trade, particularly in a constituency like Bimbila constituency, where the MP there, through his ASNAs, are sharing fiscal money to people before they join queues to register. I'm talking about the Honorable Dominic Nitiwell's constituency. That is a very unfortunate development that we have picked from that constituency, and I believe that it doesn't order well for our democracy that appointees of government who always want to engage in sharing money to be able to solicit just a common exercise like writing of names. If the Electoral Commission had listened to all our calls, I believe that would have avoided all these circumstances where people would have to be sharing money to get others to register.
The areas you say they've had to do offline registration, are there guarantees that they would eventually be uploaded onto the online portals?
So, Umar, that is the suspense that the Electoral Commission is keeping all of us. But usually what happens is that when they have registered offline, subsequently they will move that data online. When we did it in the past, we've had a situation where it led to errors, people's pictures being interchanged, and those people will have to come back again to come and verify their names and all of that. So again, it's one of the technical challenges that we would have avoided if the exercise was properly decentralized, having more machines to make sure that we avoid these kind of situations. So that is where we are.
Thank you for speaking to us. We'll return tomorrow to see how things are going. Thank you for speaking to us. That's Mustafa Gbandi, his Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Up next is Business News, and then on Point Blank, we'll focus on the cocoa sector. Please stay with us.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens. When shopping for a dress, you say,
of course, the low burst line. A little tight by the hips. Covered sleeves. Off shoulder. Definitely.
But when buying anti-malarial drug, you say,
is it not malaria? Give me whatever is available.
Choose your malaria drugs the same way you choose your dress. Always ask for Coartem. It's also available in cherry-flavored dispersible tablets for children. Don't gamble with malaria. Choose right. Choose Coartem. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor. Malaria testing should be done before treatment. This advert is FDA approved.
Yeah, Charlie, so many vibes and I bontin father, my sanaba. My many papa and you're not for more fear no more acquaintum. Trebiania so a manisca coffee and fancy than near fear for before Javasi no parking. A bear man Sujai Casa. Thanks to Sukasa, how hard to your nature. Sukasa see a damn brony friend affordable luxury homes, or more 2, 3, 4 bedrooms, where you're fully gated or grants and communities, or more malls, clubhouse, and all social amenities, plus 24-hour security. Almost our flexible payments, and yeah, no my dear Dal Casa, plus That's 100% guaranteed cashback. Yes, 100% guaranteed cashback. No quick unanswered stories. Contact Sukasa right now through phone calls or WhatsApp on 030-296-0865 and 055-369-7886. Charlie social media so more, baby. You can find them on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube at Sukasa GH. Email Susi at info@sukasa.com.gh. Sukasa, building on trust.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. City Business News. Be informed.
Time now for City Business News on Eyewitness News, powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citybusinessnews.com. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Let's settle for the details now. The year-on-year inflation for the month of August 2023 has dropped to 40.1% from the 43.1% recorded in July 2023. Food inflation also decreased to 51.9% from the 55.0% recorded in the previous month. Inflation for imported products registered a rate lower than that of locally produced items for the first time this year. Government statistician Professor Samuel Kobna Enim announced the figures.
Respectively, food inflation and non-food inflation have slowed down by 3.1% and 2.9%, given the rates that were recorded for July 2023. Further disaggregating the headline figure of 40.1% for inflation on imported items and inflation on locally produced items. Inflation on locally produced items stood at 42.4% for the month of August 2023, relative to 36.2% for inflation on imported items for the month of August 2023. In the last 12 months, it's the first time we've seen a higher rate of inflation for locally produced items relative to inflation for imported items. From a geographic point of view, we identified the Northeast region recording the highest rate of inflation of 60.1% and the Greater Accra region recording the least rate of inflation of 31.8% for the month of August 2023. Inflation from the perspective of month-on-month inflation, we recorded deflation of 0.2% for the month of August 2023. Disaggregating this from a food and non-food perspective, both food and non-food inflation recorded a deflation of 0.3% and 0.2% for the month of August 2023. We provide further insight into the data based on the items that recorded upward changes higher than the national change of 40.1%. Given the 307 items that we have in the basket for the computation of consumer price index and rate of inflation, we identified 162 items that recorded upward changes in prices higher than the national upward change in prices of 40.1%.
You heard government statistician Professor Samuel Kobna Enim. Meanwhile, economist Dr. Patrick Esumen says although the drop in inflation rate recorded in August 2023 is welcoming, there is room for more improvement.
It's a little unexpected. I didn't expect the inflation to go down by the magnitude that it has gone. So from that point of view, it's quite a pleasant surprise. That said, we have to understand that we are nowhere near where we should be. The inflation rate of upward of 40% is still extremely high. And also, when you begin to look into some of the details, you do see that there are a few worrying things in the report there. So when you look at the food and non-food, you definitely see that both food and non-food inflation has come down from the previous month. So that is good. But when you look at the disaggregation by local and imported inflation, you see that while the imported inflation is heading down, the local inflation has been heading up over the last 3 readings or so. So it just tells you that domestic cost of production is still rising and is still very high.
You heard economist Dr. Patrick Esumin. Government has been urged to create a congenial environment to improve the private equity space to propel the growth of businesses, especially small and medium enterprises. Players are therefore asking that a resilient framework is adopted to ensure the sustainability of such firms to boost economic growth. The lack of a sustainable source of funding is still a major challenge in entrepreneurship in Ghana. At an SME roundtable discussion on the theme, Venture Capital as an alternative financing source for SME growth, Chief Executive of the Association of Ghana Industries, Seth Chumakabwa, said equity financing, among other sources, will unlock Ghana's economic progress. He thus advised businesses to capitalize on such avenues to remain competitive.
We must have proper linkages of all these institutions and activities under a national plan that is very strategic, that is moving us to another level. In that case, we would have used venture capital in the very right sense, and it would have helped a great deal in moving our development agenda. The rest of us as SMEs will also tap into it. Business linkages will be there, and then we all have the benefits of total development. So venture capital has a major role to play, and I think their capitalization is key. So whilst admonishing our venture capital companies to leverage more capital, and whilst pushing the agenda that we should give, clear funding arrangement to capitalize them properly, as entrepreneurs, we also have a role to play.
Seth Chumakabwa is Chief Executive of the Association of Ghana Industries. Meanwhile, the Venture Capital Trust Fund, which has been driving the agenda of supporting startups and facilitating their growth through the provision of credit, is engaging businesses to take advantage of such opportunities. The fund says more is being done to make private equity funding attractive. Here is the Chief Executive of the Venture Capital Trust Fund, Yao Owusu Brempong.
As long as you can demonstrate that growth potential, a venture capitalist is ready to do business with you. And they come in to make sure you are able to realize that growth potential, take their share of whatever they are helping you to grow, and then move away. And then thereafter, the company becomes yours forever, and whatever that you create. And if you go to Europe and then the America, there are a lot of companies that have used venture capital and private equity money to actually realize that growth potential that they have. So quite often people say, oh, venture capital, when you go there, they won't give you money. They will ask you or they will refer you to a fund manager. It's an act of parliament. So what it means is that we do not give money directly to the SMEs. There are intermediaries between us and the SMEs.
Yao Owusu Brempong is the Chief Executive of Venture Capital Trust Fund. Energy analyst Benjamin Insia has stressed the need for relevant stakeholders to ensure full implementation of the local content policy to promote the growth of the local economy. According to him, the country must leverage on the current strides being recorded in the oil and gas industry, with the recent commissioning of the Jubilee Southeast in the Western region as a key enabler for sustained growth. In a Citi Business News interview, Benjamin Insia underscored the need to scale up efforts to increase the skills and expertise of Ghanaian students to take up the opportunities in the oil and gas industry.
I think the ministry has a local content policy. However, it has to do with the implementation to the fullest of this particular policy because most of the requirements needed from the local human resource does not meet that particular requirement, because if you look at the upstream carefully, it needs a certain bit of expertise and knowledge in terms of welding, a unique and special way of welding, which is the mechanical engineering bit. When we talk of the petroleum engineering bit, it needs a lot of expertise and experience in petrochemical engineering. For that matter, even though the local content has passed as a policy by the ministry, sometimes because of the requirements needed in the industry, persons or local human resource is not able to fill in these gaps needed by the industry entities. Yes, I think that it should come from the Ministry of Energy through a conscious and committed policy throughout our educational system to make sure that persons who complete petrochemical engineering from KNUST and other universities who are offering programs in petroleum and petroleum-related must ensure that the necessary investment is done in these schools so that they come out having a particular skill required by the industry.
Benjamin Insia is an energy analyst. The annual Ultimate Corporate Sports Gathering, the City Business Olympics, is set to take place on September 30 at the Eden Heights Sports Complex in Weija here in Accra. The event, which is powered by Citi TV with support from Citi FM, will bring together the best of the best from the corporate world to compete in a variety of sports, including 7-a-side football, basketball, soccer, volleyball, tug-of-war and arm wrestling. There will also be a CEO's challenge where CEOs from participating companies will compete against each other. Apioko Ramashong Abe is the head of programs production at Citi FM and Citi TV, and she has been speaking ahead of the much anticipated event.
This year, one of the interesting things that we're doing is that we are making esports competitive. So you may not be able to run around on the field and kick a ball and score a goal, but you may be great at FIFA and playing it in a video game form. And this is becoming competitive. And we're looking at 60 companies. A lot of companies have expressed their interest, but unfortunately, expressing your interest is not enough. You need to pay. We're looking at 3,000 Ghana cedis per company. Just that. GCB Bank, defending champions for the overall winning slot. And I know a lot of people are looking to dethrone them because they saw that title for a while. But I just want to say that if you've called and you've expressed your interest, you need to. It's an opportunity to network. I've seen people sign mega deals on the Citi Business Olympics football field. I'd like to acknowledge our sponsors for the Citi Business Olympic 2023, Unicom Chemist Limited. Quality healthcare you can trust is what they say, and I tell you that that's true. Then we have EK Brand Consult, Blue Jeans Energy Drink, and Hollard Insurance.
Apioko Ramashong Abe is the head of programs production at Citi FM and Citi TV. Now, in response to evolving consumer demand, Colgate-Palmolive Ghana, a leading personal hygiene producing company, today unveiled its latest addition to its extensive product lineup, Starsoft Fabric Softener. Now, this innovative product, conveniently packaged in sachet, features an enhanced formula with a long-lasting fragrance that imparts a luxurious softness to your clothes. During the launch event, Emmanuel Riafe, the retail environment manager of Colgate Ghana, expressed his confidence that this fabric softener will strongly resonate with consumers.
Starsoft Fabric Conditioner or Fabric Softener. And this is a product by Colgate-Palmolive, which is going to be sold by our trading partners Far East. Fabric conditioner is basically for the purpose of strengthening the lifespan of your dress. And then also what we've brought out has good fragrance. So when you use it for your laundry, it gives the dress a good fragrance. It is also easy to iron when you do that because it infuses into the fabric and then it strengthens it for a much longer use. What we've also launched again is in a sachet form, and it is 20 ml sachet. The whole strip is 12. The reason why we decided to come out with a sachet is to be able to give people the opportunity to purchase. So it is very affordable, and in that size you can purchase it. And one sachet can be used for one wash, can wash up to 20 dresses and beyond. We have two key variants on the market now. We have the lavender and then Ocean Fresh. Now this is going to be sold in every neighborhood store. You can get from every neighborhood store. In selected supermarkets too, you can get some. In the open markets, in the wholesale, we also have specialized kiosks that will be at vantage points to be able to sell this product to as well.
That was the retail and environment manager of Colgate Ghana, Emmanuel Riafe. That's all for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News, proudly brought to you by your most comprehensive business news website, citibusinessnews.com. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Up next is Point Blank.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa!
Bobo, so how your engine now?
It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to cause and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Charlie, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that?
Yes, so
somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched.
Sancho Panza.
Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz?
No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer.
Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design?
It's superb.
Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency.
Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry, Chairman Mane. Chairman.
Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Hello?
My guy, tonight what's up? What be the agenda?
Bro, we enter town. We go pick level for 1957 bar. Then we go pre-game for Usu. After we fit enter streets, hit Ali bar, then jam for some other side. But not necessarily in order. Last we will take the last show enter club.
More options in order.
You know see, but today be you the pay.
Oh, you don't get problem. As I get Express Pay.
With all your wallets and cards in one place on Express Pay, you get to chill and casa with no worries. Send money, pay bills, and transact effortlessly. Our 24/7 customer care is always available to assist you. Download Express Pay and enjoy life with the option of all options.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
In spite of this, Cocoa Board and government have been taking the very hard decision of increasing producer price of cocoa. Cocoa prices have increased from 7,600 cedis per ton in 2016 to 12,800 cedis per ton in 2022, a significant increase of 68%. This has had an adverse impact on Cocoa Board's financial performance. However, the sustainability of the entire industry hinges on a well-remunerated producer who's willing to invest in business only with the certain that government will pay the appropriate price. The international market is beginning to pick up, and government, in keeping with our promise to our gallant cocoa farmers, has today increased cocoa prices from 12,800 cedis per ton to 20,943 cedis.
Kwakufado making an announcement that should make farmers happy, and I'm referring to cocoa farmers. But the NDC says this should not be happening, and that the happiness should be bigger than what we are hearing. The minority spokesperson on agriculture, who is also a member of parliament, a former minister for Bono Ahafo, the Honorable Eric Opoku, is one such person who is re-echoing the comments of former President Mahama, who thinks that the farmers are being ripped off. So let's speak to him now. Honorable Opoku, you're welcome to Eyewitness News, the segment known as Point Blank. The president makes that announcement. The percentage increase is huge, and yet you are not content.
Yes, first and foremost, let me thank you for the opportunity to be part of your discussion. But the point is a simple one, my brother. We sell the cocoa in the international market. And so it is not the president who decides that I will give cocoa farmers the price I want. His ability to determine the price depends on what prevails in the international market. So if at any point in time the market is favorable, cocoa farmers must also be given the opportunity to enjoy. You know, this is a good year for cocoa farmers all over the world because there is global shortage of cocoa in the international market. I'm saying this because the International Cocoa Organization in 2022 predicted
that there was going to be a shortage of cocoa in the international market, and that demand for cocoa in the global market was going to exceed supply. And certainly, Sandra, you know that whenever demand exceeds supply, price goes up. And this is coming from shortage of cocoa in Ghana and La Côte d'Ivoire. These two countries, Ghana and La Côte d'Ivoire, produce 60% of the global supply of cocoa. So whenever cocoa production declines in these two countries, it affects the global price of cocoa. Unfortunately, this year, cocoa price has surged to historical, heights. Ghana has, since 1977, has not seen this kind of price anywhere in this country before. And so this is an opportunity for our farmers to enjoy. But unfortunately, government of Ghana is giving them price far below what is prevailing in the international market. And so some of us became worried. Why is it that we have gotten this high price and then our farmers are being given just a peanut? So we decided to raise the issues. No, this is not what is happening in the international market. As we speak, cocoa price has even passed 3,600. It is now $3,808. And when you add the premium that is given to Ghana because of the fact that we produce the best quality cocoa in the world, Ghana's cocoa will be selling more than 4,400 in the world market. Dollars. And so looking at our high exchange rate, the Citi equivalent is going to be huge. And this is the time that government of Ghana must put smiles on the faces of these hardworking farmers who have for a long time not been benefiting from their toils. And so when they announced the price at TEPA, we decided to interrogate the matter. The president indicated that he was giving cocoa farmers 70.5% of FOB. And so we said, which FOB was he talking about? And then they said the FOB, the free on board price, the price that they secured in the market is $2,600. And we said, no, this can never happen this year. Last year, we had $2,600 in the world market. And government of Ghana gave our farmers 800 Ghana cedis. Just because we underpaid our cocoa farmers in this country started smuggling our cocoa to Côte d'Ivoire. There are instances where Cocoa Board SF reported that they have arrested some vehicles carrying cocoa from Ghana to Côte d'Ivoire. Why should Côte d'Ivoire pay price that is higher to their cocoa farmers than the people of Ghana?
Just a question. On monetary terms, the government's announcement is from 800 to 1,300 per bag. What is the permutation you have arrived at, and how much should they have been given instead?
Yes, what we are saying is that first, we have to know the price in the market. And the price as you speak, in fact, in June, it was $3,600. And we decided to use the June price because Ghana engages in this forward sales. The forward sales that we do is just because of two key issues. One is to enable us determine a price that will be given to the cocoa farmer as a farm gate price. That is to, restore stability, create price stability for cocoa farmers. But the most critical point is that we don't have money on our own to buy the cocoa. So we engage in the forward sales to raise funds to be able to purchase cocoa for the ensuing year. So every year we do forward sales just for 1 year. Ghana has never done forward sales for 2 years. It is even irrational for anybody to think that you are going to do forward sales for 2 years. Because you cannot predict the market from this year. You cannot predict the 2 years ahead of you. It is a seasonal crop.
So I do it
for just a year.
Oh no, but if you could just give me some straight numbers, I want to know what you are.
Yeah, so our figure is that when you use the 3,600, and then you use the current exchange rate. The exchange rate on Friday, when they closed the last year season, to be able to open the new season on Saturday, was 11.03 cedis to $1. So if you have $3,600 from the market, which does not even include the premium payment, which is estimated around $497, then you use an exchange rate of 11.03, then per every ton of cocoa, Ghana should be receiving 39,708 Ghana cedis. And a ton of cocoa is 16 bags. So you just divide this by 16, and then you arrive at a per bag price of almost 2,500 Ghana cedis, excluding premium. And so when NDC was in power, we were giving the cocoa farmers 66.06%. And government was using the little that he was raising to provide other services for them. So even if we are to use the same formula, the 66%, then the cocoa farmer should be giving something close to 2,000 Ghana cedis, minus the premium. Minus the premium. And that is why we are saying that this government is shortchanging the cocoa farmer. And you know, the explanation they are giving is that, yes, they agree that the price in the market has gone up, but they sold the cocoa in 2022. That is something that we cannot understand. It is unacceptable because in marketing you have to be strategic. You must also monitor developments in the world market. As far back as 2001, the International Cocoa Organization has forecasted, that was the prediction, that cocoa prices was going to rise in the world market. And everybody knew, and they cited the shortage of cocoa, they attributed the shortage to countries like Ghana. To a country like Ghana. The reason was that Ghana's cocoa production had declined from 969,000 in 2016-17 to as low as 689,000. And they said that because of that, there will be deficit and prices will go up. So every strategic marketer ought to have known that if you are going to sell your cocoa, you should anticipate a rise in the price. And so you don't sell your cocoa so cheaply 2 years before you even harvest. It is not done anywhere. The international market does not even allow 2 years forward sales. And so when they came out to say that they sold the cocoa before the price went up, we said, what? How can this be? And even if you are selling the cocoa, you don't sell the entire cocoa you have projected just at a particular time. You sell in bits so that you'll be monitoring development in the market. So normally what we do is that if you start selling probably by May, you sell about 10% of it, then you sell another 10% in June. So if Ghana had waited up to June, we would have gotten $3,600 and even more. But we are saying that what they are telling, the story they are telling is a concocted story. It is never true that they sold the cocoa in 2002 because they cannot do that. And they cannot have any reasonable justification for engaging in that act.
Honorable.
So you don't see the cocoa farmer. But, Omar, when you look at the figures they are turning out, there are a lot of inconsistencies that suggest to us that they are only putting those figures together. They want to hide the reality from us. Why is it that you claim that the cocoa was sold somewhere in 2022? Assuming that is true, why is it that up to today we have not secured funding to purchase the cocoa? Because we normally approve the syndicated loan in July.
I have a quick question.
In July, before Parliament will go on recess, Cocoa Board will come with a syndicated loan, and then we approve for them. And before they get the syndicated facility, they have to go to the buyers, sign agreement with them as to quantities that they will buy with the respective prices. And then they will use the agreement as collateral for the banks to give them the loan facility.
Okay.
And they bring the loan facility to Parliament for Parliament to ratify.
We need to go, Honorable, but
to buy cocoa.
Just a quick question.
You have announced cocoa price.
Honorable, can you hear me?
You claim you are stopping the cocoa season, yet you don't have money to buy the cocoa. So what is the essence? What is the relevance of the forward sales you claim you did in 2022. It doesn't make sense. And that's why we are saying that this is the time for every cocoa farmer in the world to be happy.
Honorable, can you hear me?
Ghana government.
Honorable, can you hear me?
Our farmers. Yes, I can hear you.
Just a quick question before we go. If there were drops in prices, the government would have to make up for it to pay cocoa farmers.
Drops from where?
If the price internationally drops, the government of Ghana still has to cushion farmers. Now that there is a semblance of profit, should the government not then take that profit?
Omaru, what you are saying has never happened. It has never happened.
Your profit hasn't happened since 1977, so it's a new thing.
What I'm saying is that it has never happened that government of Ghana has released funds from probably consolidated funds to cushion cocoa farmers. It has never happened. They always use monies they get from the cocoa to support cocoa farmers. And so it is never true that when the price falls, they will have to settle on something to come and cushion farmers. In fact, it was during President Mohammed's time that we established what is called Cocoa Stabilization Fund, and then deposited some amount of money in that account to show up, to cushion cocoa farmers whenever the price in the world market is not favorable. But when they came, they have dissipated the fund.
Very well.
Everything in that fund is depleted.
Let's leave it here.
The issue is that this year the market is favorable, the price is very high.
So the farmers should benefit.
Give them remunerative prices.
Okay.
So that cocoa farmers will be incentivized.
Very well. Thank you. Thank you so much.
In the farm and produce more cocoa for us.
Thank you so much. That's Honorable Eric Opoku. Apologies, we have to end it there. It's time. We need to end Eyewitness News. He's Member of Parliament for Esonafo South and speaks for the minority on agriculture matters. That would be it for Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. My name is Umaru Sandhamado. I did this with Hawa Idriso Mustafa. Production by Kwabna Wilson and Bevlin London. Technical support from Daniel Squashi. New media from Edwin Kwakofi. We return tomorrow at 17:30 GMT. Up next, we bring you a playback of Face to Face. My guest on Face to Face on Citi TV last night was the Honorable Hawa Kumsin, Minister for Fisheries and Member of Parliament for Hotu Senya East. That's Kasua. You want to stay tuned in and listen to that conversation. Have a good night.